Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
This is
Hello,
Nirali.
hello,
Welcome to
hello.
India Today.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask you that you wrote a book on Lata Didi, which was memorable. I want to know how was that process like?
Yes. Well, basically, what had happened is that I live in London and I had made a long series of television programs for Channel 4 television in England called Movie Mahal. And there was a gentleman, a friend, Sanjeev Kohli, who was working at HMV in those days in London, and he saw those programs and he seemed to like them, and he introduced me to Lataji. At first, I made a documentary film for Channel 4 again on, I would say, a 3 hour film, and it was called Lata in Her Own Voice. And from that experience, we decided that we would make it into a book, use the material that was in the documentary, her long interview,
Yeah.
and expand it. And so that's the result. That's the
Yes.
book.
Yeah, absolutely. But ma'am, how was the first meeting with Lata Didi like? What are your fond memories of her?
I would say that what is nice is that sometimes you find people are instantly friendly and they are actually, I don't really trust that friendship. You can't be instantly friendly because you have to get to know the person. And Didi was always someone who took time to know a person. I would say that she was it's a strange mixture, but a very private person, but a very open person. So if she lets you into her world, you are allowed in and she would give you her all. But it would take time. And people who are famous have to take time to get to know people because there are many people who want to get to know them, but not everyone uh, is worthy of wasting time on. So many artists actually have to preserve their space a little.
Yes, ma'am. Also, Lata Didi recorded more than 30,000 songs for Indian cinema. I want to ask you, which are your favorite songs of Lata Didi?
You see, it's a very difficult question simply because it depends on one's mood. Now, Lataji's singing is so amazing that it actually, and the range of songs are so amazing that you can find a song for every mood, every occasion, but actually every personal mood. And some days you really like something like Aapki Nazron Ne Samjha. I think that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The other times I really like Chandni Raate, Pyar Ki Baatein. And other times I would like Zindagi Bhar Nahi Bhulegi Wo Barsat Ki Raat. So there are a combination of songs you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Lata Didi was known to be a foodie. Do you personally know which food item she used to like?
I don't know myself, but I do know that she made me a chicken curry once in London, and it was delicious. Curry, dal, rice, and all that, and we had a very lovely meal together. And she was a great cook. We didn't talk too much about food, to be honest. I didn't ask her, and and unless you asked her a question, she just wouldn't volunteer, a menu list.
Yeah. But she was keeping unwell for us quite some time now. Do you know who stood by her side like a pillar of strength?
To be very honest, her family very, very important to her from day one, and they were always around her. She was never alone. She didn't live alone, nor was she alone. And I think, like everybody, there's the family that is the main support, and then you have friends. So there's some people who come in and out of your life, and filmmaking is such a thing that when you're working together you get very close to people because the creation is so important to everyone, and at that time you bond with them very much. But as an artist who is working with so many people, so many directors, composers, lyricists, other singers, other musicians, I'm not sure you could really bond in that way. She
Yeah.
often talked about Pandit Narendra Sharma. She talked a lot about him and how important he was, and he became a kind of father figure for her. But as you know, he passed away many years ago.
Yeah.
But I think pillars in one's life keep changing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Lata Didi was very fond of cricket, is that you must know. Even she has an apartment at the Lords, close to Lords Stadium in London. Did you ever have conversation about cricket with her?
To be very, very honest, I'm not a cricket fan. I don't. I find it. I'm very impatient with cricket. I love tennis and I like watching football, but not cricket. But I must tell you that once she was in London, and she and Raj Singh Ji, they introduced me to Tiger, to Pataudi and Sharmila. So that was a very nice encounter. And then I stayed in touch with Sharmila after that.
Yeah. And ma'am, what was your last conversation with Lata Didi like?
Well, it was very short because I didn't want to disturb her. I was in London and it was on her birthday. That is in September. And I rang, and her lovely niece, Rachna Shah, I rang and the line was busy a lot. But then when I got through, Rachna said, "Look, she's on the other line right now, but definitely call back in 10 minutes. She'll be free," which was very sweet of Rachna. She's a lovely, lovely person, very fond of her. And so I rang back in 10 minutes, and Didi took the call. I said, "Happy birthday." And she smiled. You could hear her smile. And she said, "Thank you," and all that. And kaise hain, theek hu? Yes. Just, I didn't want to take up too much time. And just as I was going to say goodbye, then she said to me in English, "And how are you?" Which I thought was very sweet. And I said I was all right. And kaisa chal raha hai? I said, "Everything is fine. I'm coming to India soon. I hope to see you." She said yes. And that was the last time I spoke to her.
That's beautiful, ma'am. But finally, what would be your message remembering Lata Didi, the legacy she has left behind for the generations to come?
I think that never forget her songs. And I don't think I need to say that because her songs will last centuries from now. I don't know what form they will be. Before it was 78, then it became LP, then it became EP, then it became CD. Now it's Spotify. So I think we don't care the platform on which it will be played, but her songs will be part of many generations of people because the composition, the words, everything was made them perfect songs. And I think what if you had met her, what I think it would be lovely if people can emulate or understand how important it is was, and I'm not saying this lightly, it's not
Yeah.
just socially saying this, but she was a very humble person. And humility to me is very attractive because the work should speak. You shouldn't be telling, you, if I'm any good or X is any good or Y is any good. Their work should tell you that they're worth paying attention to, and that is very good. To be humble allows you to learn and you imbibe from the outside. Otherwise, your ego and your personality works like a wall, and you think you know it all, and you don't really.
Yeah. And finally, apart from her love for cricket and food, Lata Didi also used to like diamond and jewelries. Did she ever share any anecdotes with you regarding her love for the diamonds?
No, not really. But I tell you something. When you meet people,
Hmm.
uh, and especially someone like Didi, who is very, very intelligent, they can understand very quickly who you are. And I'm not that much into food and definitely not into diamonds. So
Yeah.
she knew it would be a useless conversation, but she knew I was very interested in history of cinema, history of songs, talking about the lyricists and poets and music directors. She knew my what I would be interested in, and she would not impose other conversations on me.
Yeah. But thank you so much, ma'am, for taking your time out
Welcome.
and remembering Lata Didi because she will definitely stay alive in our hearts forever.
Forever. That is for
Forever.
sure. That's for sure. Forever. Forever. Because songs go deep into the heart, deep. And I remember once I had interviewed Dilip Kumar, Yusuf Saab, and he said to me that Lata songs have pierced your heart, and every heart has a mark of Lataji. And so when you have that situation, you'll never forget her.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being on India
You're most
Today and sharing your fond memories of Didi.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Take care, ma'am.